Hello, and welcome to Point and Drink Adventure, a podcast where we talk about the drinks and the media that we're consuming. I'm Pam, and with me, as always, is the lovely Michelle.
Hi, Pam. How are you?
Hello, how you doing?
Living my best life. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing excellent. I'm excited for the drink this episode.
Yes, I know. Like, we're just like, nothing else really happened. It's fucking February. It's March. Or today's the first day of March, technically. Oh, I'm dating us
That's
now.
true. Yeah, it is. It is March. And this weekend, it was like, we had a little bit of a mild week. And then this weekend is like, no, minus 17.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Today was like 50 degrees outside. I walked outside to the farmer's market. It was gorgeous. I was like, do I need a sweater? What is just happening? I was been driving with the windows down. It's 45. Nice. I'm like, oh my God, so good, so nice. I love it. And tomorrow it'll be cold. So, yay. You know, we're getting old when all we talk about is the weather. You know what I mean?
The weather, I know. Yeah, it's true. I've noticed it happening way more.
Yeah, I was like, so many of my conversations start off that way. I'm like, I'm getting old. Damn it. Yeah. But yes, what are we drinking, Pam? Oh my gosh.
We are drinking champagne today. We are drinking Veuve Cliquot.
Ooh,
look
so
how
sexy.
Bubbly it is. It's so bubbly.
Yours is insane. Mine's definitely not insanely
yeah.
bubbly. But
I mean, I just opened mine as well. So
yeah, mine was definitely crazy bubbly whenever I first opened it, but it's settled down because it's been in my glass for a little bit. But still an incredible amount of tiny little bubbles in there.
Yes.
But yeah, we're doing champagne again because you know what? Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Also, we both watched a movie, which we may as well just put into this drink conversation called Veuve Cliquot, which I think is a movie from last year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's from last year about Madame Cliquot, who her husband had a number of businesses, but then he died, and then she took over the business because at the time, sort of like under Napoleon, women weren't allowed to run businesses unless they were widows and they were running their husband's old business. So she took on the vineyard and pioneered champagne in a number of ways.
Oh, yes. She is like not only being a boss badass in the early 1800s, being a 27-year-old widow, inheriting this vineyard and just like, all right, I'm going to run this now. And then just being so creative and had a lot of like foresight in terms of like expanding the brand and modernizing techniques in champagne that they still use to this day. This woman was a badass bitch. Like, yeah, she fucking kicked ass. I'm usually not a huge, I don't buy Veuve a lot because it is a huge brand at this point. I mean, it's massive, but the like learning about the story of this woman and the significance she contributed into wine, it just like makes me love it even more.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because Veuve is one of the brands you see everywhere. Like it's in every liquor store. If you're getting champagne, that's going to be one of the options. But yeah, I do find that I learned more about her by looking her up on Wikipedia after the movie. The
movie doesn't do a great job in terms of like what she did and such, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, the movie's all right. It focuses a lot on her dead sad boy husband, and like it does go over what she did, but I feel like I wanted more wine. Like I wanted to see the wine. I wanted to see people drinking the wine more. But what was it she did? She was the first one who did a vintage, right?
She was the first one to really do a vintage, and it was 1810, I believe was the year, and that was the Comet vintage, which she labeled all the bottles Comet. And since then, in Comet vintages are supposed to be like super amazing high quality, and there's no actual scientific evidence that like when a comet is happening prior to harvest that it makes the wine better, but it's like you know, very symbolic. And
Yes.
yeah, so there's a couple vintages that are comet vintages. One of them I learned was 1985, which is my birth year. So I'm a comet vintage, so go me.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, so a vintage is when all the grapes are from a single year. Whereas a non-vintage is when you have a blend of multiple years of grapes to make the champagne. She also made the riddling table, which is a way of getting the sediment out and like making champagne look as beautifully transparent as it is today, as opposed to cloudier, which it used to be pre this method. And there was a third one, wasn't there? There was a third thing she did.
The third one that she really did was she put her like foot in the ground, not foot in the ground, but she made her brand into Russia prior to the Russian Revolution. So whenever Napoleon was defeated, she was the first in Russia, and even like a little bit prior to that, which like really what is the word I'm looking for? Like bumped up the brand and like made her like, sales go up and such. So I don't think there was any other what she also did, she blended two wines together. So she blended still red wine and champagne in order to make rosé, which is something that they still do to this day. And it's the only place in the world that you can make rosé in that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was the first rosé that she made. Yeah. Yeah. So she did all sorts of amazing things that are still done to this day. And I don't think the movie was particularly good about showing that.
No, I feel like it was more about the relationship between her and her dead husband. And he was a true sad boy. Now, I don't know if how much of it is true, because the movie, okay, spoiler alert, I guess. I mean, it's like hinted at. It's thought he possibly committed suicide. The movie takes the route that he did commit suicide. So it's really about that relationship and how she's trying to cope with it while trying to do something for this vineyard, because it's what she's really passionate about. I liked her performance. I loved how beautifully shot it was, but I agree there needed to be more wine. And even in like some shots, like there was one where the bottles are exploding in the cellar.
Yeah.
And they don't ever say why. And if you don't know anything about wine, you're just like, what the fuck is happening here? Like,
exactly, yeah.
Like, I could see how that could be very confusing. And even on the IMDb site afterwards explained why that happened, because I'm sure, like, because glass was not as strong, and she was also trying to get out there and try to find the strongest glass possible, because when you'd make champagne, it's secondary fermentation in bottles. So what they do is they add yeast into the wine, and that eats up the sugars, and then that's what creates the bubbles. So when you're doing fermentation outside of the bottle, that creates a bigger, fluffier bubble like Prosecco. So that causes a lot of pressure on the glass, and glass back then was not as modernized and strong as it is today. So it would be very common for bottles to just fucking explode.
Dangerous to walk through those wine cellars as they're in secondary fermentation.
Absolutely it is. And so, yeah, so that's why that is, and how she, you know, I mean, it's very easy to lose entire vintages just because of bottle explosion. And it would cascade, you know, one goes and then poof, they all go exploding. But yeah, Veuve Cliquot is an interesting movie, but is it a great wine?
The thing is that for a movie about champagne, it was very British.
It was very British, yes.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is very, like, why, like, even when you watch, like, old Roman movies and such, it's very, movies about old Rome, it's very British. Like, why is that?
I don't know. Yeah, but it was interesting. I'm glad it gave me a reason to learn more about her. So, but how do you like champagne?
Excuse me, bubbles make me burp. The nose on it is lovely.
It is.
The bubbles are so nice and tight and effervescent. Effervescent. It's very clean, bright, and dry, which I love. I love a dry. Appley.
Nice and crisp, and a tiny bit tart. Like I like it a lot.
Yeah, so do I. Very lovely. I think it's a very lovely. Is it the best champagne I've ever had? No. But I feel like my bottle costs 67 US, which I feel like is a pretty good price for champagne. I mean, it is a big name brand. They make a lot of these wines, but this is excellent.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It was 86 Canadian, so on the cheaper side for champagne.
For sure. For sure, but you're still getting like, it's still a great bottle of wine. Which is crazy. Like, that's cheap for champagne. But champagne's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It really is. Oh, and I also learned, I never even realized this, one, because I don't speak French, but Veuve means widow. So it's called Veuve Cliquot. I didn't either. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's why it's called Veuve, because she's Widow Cliquot. Yeah. Did not know that.
All right. So what have you been watching lately?
So besides Widow Cliquot, because it's been on my watch list for a while, I decided, all right, so I've been seeing a lot everywhere is that clip or a gif of Jamie Lee Curtis and John Travolta working out in an aerobics room. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? I've like never heard of this movie, never seen it. And so of course I had to look it up because I started seeing it fucking everywhere. And Jamie Lee Curtis looks stupid hot. And John Travolta is wearing some hot little booty shorts, swinging his little like hips around. I was like, okay. So the movie is called Perfect. It's from 1985, Comet Vintage. And it is about John Travolta is a writer. Starts off, he's a writer for like obituary in the small newspaper in Jersey City or Newark, one of them. And it cuts to him being a big writer at the Rolling Stone. And he is doing this piece on a on this guy who's like under investigation from the government, and he gets this like really exclusive interview with the guy. So it's like this big Rolling Stone article. But as his like sort of side hustle while he's working on that, he's like, I'm also going to want to do this piece since I'm going to have to go to Los Angeles anyways on the aerobics industry and how it's sort of turned into like the singles bar of the 80s. And so it's kind of about him working on both of these projects, but then meeting Jamie Lee Curtis, who is a aerobics instructor in LA, and how their relationship sort of blossoms and how she has a lot of trauma about the news industry from experiences in her past and how they sort of navigate it. It's not a movie you would think it is. Like, it sounds really like, it's very dark in some places and not like you see that image or you see that GIF or whatever, and it looks like a comedy. It's not. It's a drama. It's like not all. But Jamie Lee Curtis is stupid hot with her hot girl mullet. And John Travolta is surprisingly good. I think this is sort of like a very underappreciated film. It's not like necessarily great, but it was still fun in a way that like because the aerobics were ridiculous and it talks about a lot of like self-esteem issues and very, very interesting. But that image of Jamie Lee Curtis working out, man. Have you heard of this movie or seen this movie?
I didn't know anything about the movie. You told me a bit about the mullet and the sexy aerobics, but no, I assumed it was just like, oh, one of those like kind of campy 80s movies where everyone's doing aerobics. Okay.
No, it is wild. It is very serious and very like serious in parts. It does have some levity for sure, but it's very topical. I guess I'll put kind of spoiler. Like the reason why she hates the press and she doesn't have any trust in John Travolta is because she used to be an Olympic swimmer, but scandal hit because a reporter interviewed her and exposed her coach to having a sexual affair with her prior to the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And then she was like, he was not supposed to say any of that stuff. And he did. And so I have zero trust. And so that's sort of that conflict of like her trust issues and such with it. So I was like, oh shit. It's a very layered movie. And then it talks about self-esteem issues. Like one girl he interviews, she goes to the gym all the time to work out, and she's talking about how she wants to get all these surgeries and stuff to fix her face so she can become perfect. And he's like, aren't you perfect now? Like, what's wrong with you now? And she's like, no, I need to be perfect. You know, like that kind of thing. So it's a interesting movie. Is it good or great? But I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Yeah, totally unexpected. Wasn't what I was thinking it would be, but that sounds pretty good.
What have you been watching, Pam?
So we watched a couple weeks ago Night of the Hunter, which is a 1955 movie directed by Charles Laughton, starring
Robert Mitchum,
where he is a criminal who passes himself off as a pastor or some kind of religious man. And at the opening of the movie, this man has stolen some money, and he runs home and he stows away the money and his children are there, and he says, don't tell anyone where the money is ever. And then the man gets arrested and goes off. And then Robert Mitchum comes in and sort of hears about this movie in jail, and he kind of comes and woos the mother and is trying to get these children to tell him where the money is.
And so, the kids run off and try to run away from him because he's a serial killer. That's what he does.
He's a serial killer.
He's a serial killer. He's got the love-hate on the knuckles.
And this is knuckles,
like 1950s. That's some heavy shit right there for 1950s.
Yeah, I loved Robert Mitchum in this. He's just got such a good voice and like he's so like masculine.
He's such a man.
Yeah.
Like, even though you're a serial killer and I know you're the bad guy, you can come marry me and try to find money. I'm down. What do you think of this movie?
Overall, I thought it was just okay, but I like how it's filmed. Like, a lot of the sort of shadow work and everything in the movie was really good. I loved Robert Mitchum in it, but it was this weird kind of like, here's this thriller with this man who's endangering these children, and then also this kind of like, oh, things are hard for children, God bless them. Like, it was just kind of this weird mix.
Yeah. Children are our future. Let us pray. Yeah. I mean, it's the 50s.
I guess it was the 50s, and the movie was supposed to be during the Depression, so, maybe people acted very differently, but like, I felt like the townspeople, the mother, I was like, what are you, like, why are any of you behaving this way?
Yeah, it's hard to put yourself into the, like, to see these, that. And I feel like that's maybe true for a lot of, like, older movies. Like, I love old movies, but sometimes I think what people don't like about old movies is, like, either the cadence that they speak in or the way that they act. Like, that's not how real people act. I was like, well, maybe that was real for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they did then. Like, you weren't there. Or maybe if you were, like, I don't know, you're almost 100 now. I don't know. But I enjoy this movie a lot. I agree. The children thing is really fucking weird. Yeah. But it's like one of the very few movies where I don't, it's because the main characters are two little kids. And it's one of the few movies where I don't hate the kids all the time. I'm not saying the whole time. Some of the time I don't hate them.
Yeah. The kids were great. Still my favorite part of the movie, and I was just trying to remember exactly what the line read was yesterday, but when he's like, all right, let's talk about that money to the little girl, and she's like, No.
Her delivery sometimes, she's like she's 5 years old and she's like, no. It's like such a 5-year-old thing. She was sassy sometimes, but then like you'd be like, some of the times she'd be like, you're such a pain in the fucking ass. Like, get but that's such a 5-year-old, so I guess it's realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Night of the Hunter. Classic Charles Lawton, Robert Mitchum. Love it. Love that movie.
What else did we watch?
So again, this is a movie I've never heard of before. I was hanging out with my dad's, and he's like flipping through DVDs, and he's like, have you ever seen Saint Jack? I'm like, what the fuck is that? No, it's from 1979. It's a Peter Bogdanovich movie, which is a big director. And it is interesting. So it's about this man. He is a very charismatic pimp in Singapore. And he is an American. And he runs his pimpin' business. And he, in order to be legit, he sort of fronts his, like, a business with a couple of Chinese businessmen. And so it's about the Chinese businessmen are getting audited. And so a man from Hong Kong who's like the professor in Indiana Jones, you know, the cute little old professor guy that Indy talks to at the university. It's him. Marcus. Marcus, yes, it's Marcus. Marcus is in the movie, and he flies in from Hong Kong to audit them, and he sort of befriends Jack, who's our titular character. And it's about, like, Saint Jack. He's this pimp, but he's got a heart of gold. And, you know, he's just a nice guy, and he tries to do the best for everybody. He knows everybody. You see him walk down the street. He's like, hey, Larry, how's your kids? Like, everybody on the streets of Singapore. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this man knows how to talk to people, for sure. I mean, I guess probably a good quality to have as a pimp. But so once a year, Marcus, I'm literally just going to call him that now. Marcus comes to Singapore to audit them, and they hang out. They have a good time. He gets to see, like, the difference in lifestyle that Marcus has to himself, and how he just sort of wants that little bit, but also trying to navigate his life in Singapore. And he wants to own a brothel house. But his Chinese businessmen are like, no, don't do that, because that, you know, the mafia is going to come get you. So then, of course, the mafia comes and destroys it, and then he has to start all over again. So it's about, like, trying to find yourself and what you actually want in Singapore. It's a very different kind of movie. There's really no, like, real resolution. It's a lot of, like, character development and situational stuff. But it was very interesting, and I thought very well done. And he's such a lovable guy. Like, the characters are so, like, so empathetic. And you want them to succeed, and you really feel for them whenever something goes wrong. It's very well done in that way. So I thought it was a really interesting movie. It bombed at the box office. Fucking flatlined. But it was a very interesting concept and a kind of different kind of movie. I liked it a lot.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'd never heard of that before. Who's the main guy? Did you say?
Gaza? What is this? I forgot. What's his name? Ben Gazzara, who has been in a lot of different things. One of them, I think it was, he's been in The Big Lebowski, but he was the bad guy in Roadhouse. Like the big guy, the millionaire who lived across the street or across from Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. So that guy. So he's not evil. He's a nice guy. But yeah, a nice little movie. I don't know, nice. It's kind of sad, but yeah.
Yeah.
What else have you been watching?
So I watched, and well, we both watched this separately. Island of Lost Souls, which is a pre-code 1932 movie. It's basically the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yep.
So it's about a man who he gets lost at sea, and he gets rescued and put on a boat, and then this strange doctor, Dr. Moreau, played by Charles Laughton, he is going to his island, and the man ends up just sort of going there as well through no choice of his own and seeing what's happening here. And on the island are a bunch of man beasts.
That's a good descriptor. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Combos of that. And then there's also a woman who Dr. Moreau is trying to push onto this man.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of him figuring out exactly what is going on this island, all the while his fiance back home is looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. What did you think of it?
Well, pre-code. First off, it's an hour and 10 minutes long. So
yeah, it's nice and short. It's a very brisk movie.
Even though sometimes in the middle of I looked over, I'm like, how far am I?
Yeah.
Pre-code movies can be a little tough sometimes when you are of that era, the 1930s. This is 1932, so this is a couple years before the Hays Code. It was 1936, I think, was when the Hays Code, which is what it means when we say pre-code, which means that it's a censorship code. For those of you who don't know, 1936 was the first year to implement the Hays Code, which is a way for things to be censored in Hollywood. And that was enacted until like the 60s. And this is whenever it finally like collapsed. And then we got movies about sex and crazy things.
It wasn't, and the code wasn't just about like sex and nudity. It was also like, the bad guy can't win. Like this, like just like sort of morality kind of rules as well.
Yeah. No prostitution, no like butts. I remember watching All Quiet on the Western Front, which is also a pre-code movie, and the guy like jumps into the water to go swimming and he uses like butts. I was like,
butts.
Tushy, all right. But yeah, so some pre-code movies, they hold up pretty well. I don't think this one holds up so well.
Yeah, I don't think it held up very well. My favorite part was Charles Laughton and how just campy and over the top he was. Like when they're in his like experiment room and he just sort of like lays back on this on the table.
I thought of you when that scene happened. I was like, dude. He's like walking around the room and he just leans back and goes,
it's just like
in the middle of a conversation.
Around. Yeah.
He's like leans back, like laying down, like what the who does this?
That was he was my favorite part of the movie. And I also liked, like, there were some scenes in the beginning on the boat, like when people punching each other. I was like, oh wow, that looked like a real punch. Actually, when they pushed the lead off the boat onto the I was like, oh, okay, I don't know how he got up from that, but
right. So obviously again, this is old Hollywood. Safety was not under anyone's radar at this time at all.
But I agree. It didn't it was just sort of like, the dialogue and everything wasn't that great. Any parts that Charles Laughton was in, I didn't love. The woman who is on the island, whose name is Kathleen Burke, on the movie, in the credits, she was introduced as the Panther Woman. She didn't have a name in the credits.
But they said her name a bunch of times, so I don't get it. Whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was
How many pre-code movies have you seen? Have you seen many?
I don't think I've seen that many, no.
I went down a rabbit hole a couple of years ago because I was like, pre-code. I want to see what kind of stuff they were doing beforehand. And there's definitely, like, you definitely see some titties and some asses every once in a while, but most of the time it's more about the content and about the subject matter is really what they were trying to censor. Like, one of them, like prostitution, for example. But this one, obviously the censorship is the morality of experimenting on things, on animals to make them human. So
I mean, it was honestly, even, you know, pre-code, it was pretty like out there that he was basically trying to breed the Panther Woman and the protagonist. Like, yeah. So I feel like there was another one that I just watched, not pretty recently, that was a pre-code movie. Oh no, it wasn't pre-code. Never mind.
But this movie is pretty iconic in terms, like, it's referenced a lot in media. Like, even I was when I was looking this up afterwards, because I watched this today. I have an album, the first album, I have it on vinyl, from Devo. Have you ever listened to Devo?
A little bit.
You're like, man, it's sort of experimental. Anywho, their first album is called We Are Men, and that's a quote from this movie. Whenever they're like, who are we? Are we men?
We are men.
Are we men? And then one of the songs, Jacko Homo, in the album, is literally like, we are Devo, just like, we are men.
Oh.
Which I thought that was fun.
I'm just gonna get some more.
Oh yeah, get some more. Ray.
So what else have you watched?
So, my sister has a little black kitty named Vivi. I love my little man. He's a little man. He's a little pain in the ass. He hates me. I love him so much, and he hates me. But I love little Kitty. Kitty's had a lot of like health issues lately, but he's doing good now. So I heard about this movie Flow, which is about a little black cat. So I'm like, well, obviously I have to watch it. This is a little black cat, and Vivi is a little black cat. Picture of Vivi, the cutest thing on the planet. Hates me so much. And so Flow is a animated movie. It's actually animated completely in Blender, which is an open source thing. I don't know what we call it, processor or like things to create graphics. And so it's about, let's say, post-apocalyptic world where animals are hanging out. There's no humans, so you don't know how long humans have been gone, but you see traces of humans. And a massive catastrophic flood occurs, and Kitty loses his home. And so it's about the journey he goes on, or she. We're going to call him he because Vivi is a boy. He goes on to just escape and figure it out. And he meets a bunch of other cute little animals, like a capybara, a lemur, a bird, a dog, on the way on this boat. And somehow these animals know how to navigate a boat. It's fine. It's fine. It's post-apocalyptic. Everything is fine. And just like the journey that they go on. And there's no dialogue. It's all just animal sounds. So it is all done. It's all done visually, and they all communicate each other. Like, it's a bunch of meows and or whatever capybaras make and dogs barking. And so it is a lovely film about these animals and the relationships and the differences that they have between each other and how they are just trying to survive and get somewhere to survive. And it gets kind of like fantasy-like because, again, it's not of this world. It's post-apocalyptic, and there are some fantasy elements to it. And the things about the world are like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, obviously in the future or past or whatever it is. But the animals are just it's so lovely and very stressful because you don't want anybody to die. Of course, they're going to be in situations where there's a flood and a tsunami hits them. And you're like, capybara, if you do not make it, I will throw my fucking phone. Like,
I love capybaras. They're so cute.
They're so cute.
They're just so big and friendly and
so cute. And he's so cute in this movie. He's like a grumpy butt, and he's just like, trying to get. And the cat is like, the fuck are you? You know, like a cat.
Yeah. I love capybaras. They can, at zoos and things, they can put capybaras in with like most other animals. Like they're large enough that, you know, they're probably not going to get eaten, and they just kind of get along with everyone. And I love them.
Yes, I love them. Oh my God, you should watch this movie, Pam, because it just because it's like the capybara. He's so cute, and like animals are so cute, and visually, it's probably not my favorite style of animation, but it's done so well. The way the animals react and their expressions are incredible. Some of the shots maybe like. For me, again, this is just an opinion thing. It's not like my favorite style of animation, but it was still beautiful. You still can absolutely appreciate it. And it was just a lovely movie. And it wasn't too long. It was like hour 20-ish. Nice.
That sounds good. I think it's been a while since I've watched an animated movie.
Yeah. Same. I usually don't go for animated movies at all. Wow, yeah, it's been a long time. I used to watch a lot of like animated shorts that were nominated for Oscars.
Right.
Those are fun. I remember one year there was one where you just made guacamole. It was so good. But yeah, you should watch Flow. Flow's a nice movie.
I'll put that on my to-watch list.
Nice little happy time. And then you're just going to want all the animals, like me right now.
Yeah.
I don't need a cat. I don't need a cat. I don't. But I do. What else have you been watching, Pam?
So I feel like in the last year or two, I've watched a lot of Coen brothers and a lot of Nicolas Cage. So I also just watched Raising Arizona for the first time.
Whoa, for the first time?
For the first time. Yeah, I'd never seen it before. Although I remember in my grade 12 English class, my grade 12 English was more like a media studies, media literacy class. And I remember my teacher using a scene from Raising Arizona to be like, okay, what is this scene telling you? And I still remember that. But yeah, I had never actually watched the whole movie. So this is about Nick Cage, who is a sort of small-time crook. He keeps robbing people, but his gun is never loaded. And then Holly Hunter, who is a police officer who works at the jail. And they manage to fall in love and get married, and they want to have a baby, but they find out she can't have babies. However, someone in town has just had quintuplets. So that's more babies than they can handle. And Nick Cage and Holly Hunter have none, so they decide to steal a baby. And just sort of hijinks ensue. And I really liked this movie. I feel like I like the goofier Coen movies a lot. Like their humor really works for me. John Goodman is in it, who is amazing. I don't remember the name of the man or the character, but his brother, John Goodman's brother in that, is also great. There's this chase scene in the middle of the movie that's got so many characters and probably lasts 15 minutes. And it's amazing. Like, just like people are chasing cars are chasing people, dogs are chasing people. They're going in people's houses and out through the backyard. And like,
oh my goodness. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. I don't remember that scene. I should rewatch it because I love it.
It's so good.
So good. Oh, man. I agree. I love goofy Coen Brothers movies more than the more serious. Like Hudsucker Proxy. I love that movie because it's stupid. I love stupid. Oh, man. And Holly Hunter is so good in this movie. She's so baby obsessed.
She's so good. Yeah. She's so great. I love how they just got the baby, and 5 minutes later she's just sobbing like, I love him so much.
She is insane. She's got so many red flags. It's not even funny.
But I really enjoyed Raising Arizona.
Where do you think it would rank for your Coen Brothers tier list?
Oh boy.
I know.
That would be pretty high. Honestly, it would be pretty high on the list. I was trying to think of all of the other ones that I've seen, and I haven't seen all of them, but
me either.
Like, I think it's probably, I don't know. It might be my favorite one, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think Fargo will always hold a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But Hudsucker Proxy, Fargo, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably my big three. And you know, people are like, oh, Old Country for Old Men. I'm like, no. We need the stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also really like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think sort of that Raising Arizona and Fargo would probably be my top three. But
nice. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you watched, Pam? I see one more on this list.
One more thing. So a number of months ago, Dylan and I started watching Twin Peaks, and I've seen the first two seasons a couple times. He hadn't seen it before, so we got through those and then took a little break and then watched The Return, which was like the third season that was made 25 years after the original. So we finally wrapped up the series. Have you seen any Twin Peaks?
I haven't seen any Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay. Because I really like the first two seasons. Like, they're kind of surreal and weird, and this strange mashup of like horrible things happening at the same time as just like nice small town people who sometimes aren't so nice, and just like the weird things going on in town. So the Return continued on that mostly. I actually, when it first started, I watched the first episode, like, I don't know, whenever, closer to when it came out, and I hated the first episode, and I didn't watch it, any more of it again. So yeah, it's weird. Like, it goes back to the town, and that's nice. I even like some of the new characters and some of the directions they go. It's still got its share of very surreal things, but it also has scenes that go on for like 6 times longer than they need to.
Was the newer one still directed by David Lynch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Directed and written by David Lynch.
Oh.
So yeah, there were some things I wasn't even really. I was like, how is this related to anything? But it was interesting. There was some new characters who were awesome. 2 of the characters from the first one who work at the police station, and they're both kind of strange, a little mentally slow people, Lucy and Andy, and they have a child who makes a sort of cameo appearance, and it's Michael Cera basically doing a Marlon Brando impression. And it's awesome. He was like my favorite character for the longest time, until we met Candy, who works for these 2 casino owners, and she's just very like, she's always just kind of sitting there going like, just like stroking her collarbone and like looking off into the distance, and they're like, Candy, go and get Mr. Who, and she's kind of just like, oh, and then she like saunters away.
You love delusional.
I do.
Pam loves delusional queens on RuPaul's Drag Race. So that makes total sense that she loves the delusional character in Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, the final season was a bit of a mixed bag, and I don't know that it really concluded any, like, because it was sort of suddenly canceled after season 2, and so people were like, oh, you know, we need a conclusion. And was there a satisfying conclusion? No, it was just sort of
the same.
More Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't think we need a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
Like, why? I mean, it's nice to get closure sometimes, but also, isn't it also fun to speculate and to, have your own ideas of how you would end it? You know what I mean? Like, not every movie has to end for closure.
Especially something like that with David Lynch and how just fucking weird his stuff is. Like, even after watching the first 2 seasons, I was never like, they should definitely bring this back. Like, make a new season. We need a 3rd season. So, which is part of the reason why I never watched it until now. But, so I'm fine with, not having a solid, and this is how this person ended up, and this is what this means. Like, I wasn't expecting that. So
a nice little happy montage, like at the end of a video game, you see each little person doing their own little thing. None of that. We don't need it.
No, we don't need that.
Nice. Good. I'm glad you watched. I need to dive into more David Lynch. I watched when I had COVID like years ago. I did go through like a bunch of David Lynch movies because I was just sick in bed.
Yeah.
But I need to get back into some more David Lynch. Like, I've never seen True Romance. Is that the one? What's your favorite one? I remember you telling me once before.
Lost Highway is my favorite
Lost
one.
Highway is your favorite one. I don't even know if True Romance is True Romance a David Lynch one. I have no.
Yes.
Okay, Lost Highway I've never seen. True Romance I've still never seen. So I still need to watch like all of them after like Blue Velvet and Beyond. I still need to watch. So, yay.
Yeah. I like his movies. We also have watched a number of his. We watched Inland Empire. I think we talked about that before. Did we watch something else?
Oh, we did. We watched Mulholland Drive.
Oh, Mulholland Drive, not Inland. Yeah. Mulholland Drive. That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. True Romance is not David Lynch. What am I thinking of? I always get it confused with the actual David Lynch one. Tony Scott did True Romance. What am I always confusing it with? I'm trying to find it. Sorry. Wild at Heart. That's the Lynch one.
The Laura Dern one.
Yeah. I always get those titles confused for some reason.
I mean, for a good reason. Who was gonna remember that? Like they all, like, in my mind they sound the same, and I could just I feel like I only know that one because of Laura Dern. That's it.
And Nick Cage is also in that.
Of course he is. More young Nick Cage. Oh, adorable.
Have you seen his Dune?
David Lynch's Dune?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Sting walking out of the steam, just going,
yeah.
Yeah. Milking cats. I don't care if David Lynch hates that fucking movie. I love that fucking movie.
I like that movie. Yeah.
It's great. Like, freaking, what's his face who was in Twin Peaks and the mayor in, like, Portlandia? Kyle MacLachlan's hair is wildly poofy for being in the desert. But that movie is great, even though we've got a lot of fucking internal monologues. Visually great.
That's true.
The fucking Giger stuff is great. Like, fucking don't care. It's bad. But I love it. It's okay to love bad movies.
All right. I think that's it for movies. Do you want to take a drink break?
Drink break! All right. Pam, you have definitely always, as always, play more games than me because you're a boss bitch like Veuve Cliquot. What games have you been playing?
So I finished and started a game called Elsinore, which is a game I've had in my Steam library for quite a while. This is by Golden Glitch. It's a 2019 game, and it's a time-looping adventure game where you play Ophelia from Hamlet, and you originally go and you play through, and you're basically playing through the events of the play, and then at the end you die because, that's
You're Ophelia.
what happens. And then you get some weird person talking to you and they're like, no, something's wrong here. You need to figure it out. So you basically get to go back. And it's really cool. Like, it's a really open thing. So throughout this castle, you can like follow people around or talk to people. So you can like follow Hamlet and see what Hamlet's doing. You can talk to the king and queen. You can talk to your father. And usually something goes terribly wrong. Like your father gets murdered, or Hamlet kills your brother, or, you know, various things can happen. Even if you manage to live yourself, then you get invaded by whoever was going to invade them. So you need to sort of figure out what's going on so that you can get to an ending where you don't die, and hopefully the people you love don't die either. But it was really interesting. Like, it's very text-based, so there's lots of reading, but as you go from loop to loop, like, you can see the clock. There's a fast forward, so if you just want to be like, I know something's going to happen at 2 p.m. and it's only 6 a.m., you can just be like, bzzz, fast forward to that time so that you don't have to waste time waiting around. You get this nice, like, interface where it shows you like, oh, this is probably going to happen at this time, or this person will be here, so you can keep track of what's happening. You've got like a good journal telling you sort of what threads you should be following to see to their conclusion as you go. And
nice.
I really enjoyed it.
I really like that organization, because I'm not gonna fucking remember bullshit like that, or like, give me a happy little book. Write stuff down and circles things. And,
it was
that's sexy.
Very nicely organized. So it was, I thought it was really good. Like, the graphics are nothing to write home about, but they're, you know, serviceable. But you're basically just going and talking to different people. Like, everyone's there. The Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are there. And like, there's also many endings. I just got to one ending. But you can, if you want to, try for more. But once I got my one ending, I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to see every ending. But there's all sorts of different things and different paths you can send people on, and different characters will have different ends. So,
yeah, as Hamlet said, thy own self be true. Actually, Hamlet didn't say that. That
Polonius guy did. Well, I think I remember Mel Gibson correctly.
When I Googled this game because I saw it we put on the list, that's all I kept thinking about. Yeah. Clueless. Yes, love it. Yeah, I love how I didn't like prompt you with that at all. I just started saying it. I love that. Oh, God. I love a good Hamlet story.
Yes. And Hamlet's also, like, of the Shakespeare that I read in high school, of which there were 5, because there was 5 years of high school, that's my favorite one. So,
really? I'm a sucker for Shakespearean movies. Fucking love them. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, Shakespeare game. Maybe I would like that, because I don't know why. Don't understand half the shit that they're saying to me, but I fucking love it.
Yeah.
And Clueless.
What have you played?
So, started up like this co-op-y thing with my sister and 2 of our friends in the Discord, Seth and Ross, and we started playing Core Keeper. Which is, we had tried Core Keeper.
We had played it for
years ago,
a handful of times. Yeah, years ago. Yeah, was it still in early access?
Yeah, it was early access then. Okay. And now it's been released and completed. So yay, hunky dory. And so Seth actually dropped off because he wasn't feeling it. And I am a sucker for those kind of sandboxy, build your little town kind of game. Like, I looked at my Steam. I have over 350 hours in Terraria. Like,
oh wow,
that's a lot. It's too much. It's too much. So I love these kind of games where you just go and dig for shit. I don't know why. It's just something about it. Just like, is very relaxing and calming to me. I'm just going to go mine some bullshit in some weird ass little world. So this was my jam. My sister built the town. I went off and hunted for mine and ore. So Core Keeper is one of those kind of sandboxy games. There's actual story and there's an actual credit scene, which is like thumbs up all day.
That's nice, because there wasn't that when we played early access. Yeah. It was just kind of like, go explore.
Yeah. No, there's a credit. There's actual like an ending scene.
Nice.
And a credits thing and a resolution. I was like, the fuck is it? Terraria didn't have this. What the fuck? Great. I love this for me. So it's a bit bigger than whenever we played it. But I probably spent about 70 hours playing this game.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot. I did a lot of digging. I just left. At some point, I also just left it on. Now, granted, I probably left it on to go dig for like 10 hours. So really, I played 60. But still, that's a lot of fucking hours into this game. And so you're this person who just gets thrown into a cave. Like you're an explorer and you're just thrown into a cave and you're like, hey, there's these weird core things. There's these weird like kind of like futuristic little orbs and you're just supposed to go kill the bad guy. So like, okay, we go, you have your boss list thing and you just go kill bosses and you upgrade yourself and you go explore and you dig and you build mines and you teleport things, that kind of stuff. I did a range build. It was great. I built little mining things. I love these fucking type of fucking games. I had a fucking pet. I had animals. We had a farm. Wow. I think we named animals in the farm. I think you were a sheep. And a couple of our other friends that were other animals in the farm. And I loved this game. I thought it was a great time. It's great playing co-op because people can, your friends can come in and out of whenever, you could probably buy a server on like G Portal or whatever, but it's a nice, if you like to just like one of those sandbox games and that's relaxing to you, fucking go play Core Keeper. It's great. Yeah. I know you're not a huge fan of these kinds of games, right?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. When we played, like, I do not want to build or deal with inventory, but when we played, I would just be like, I'm going to run as deep into this dungeon as I possibly can and then probably die and then do it again.
I love that. Yeah. That's what's the best part about playing this co-op, because my sister did the building and box organizing. So I would just dump shit and she would just be like, you're fucking shit up, Michelle. I'm like, I know. Fix it. Go fix it. Yeah. Go build my house. Go build me a bathroom over there and like a little farm. And she would farm and such. And I would just go like, go grind getting things. And she'd be like, I need this. I'm like, I'll go get it. So that was really nice. But I definitely understand like these type of games are not for everybody, for sure. But there's something relaxing about them to me. So I'm just like, just chill. I love a chill. This is chilling to me. Fighting bosses and monsters and grinding.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my kind of chill thing would be Kingdom, like the Kingdom games, which are not sandboxy, but the same kind of like, go gather some things, go upgrade some villagers, wait for some monsters to attack. Like that nice kind of just like loop that's, kind of repetitive, but there's like some exploring and some picking things up and some upgrading things, but it just kind of like, I could just sit here and play this while I like listen to my podcasts or books or like.
Yeah, that's what I was doing with this. Relaxing. Yeah. Sometimes you just need like whatever is relaxing to you.
Exactly.
What else have you been playing? This Metroidvania.
Yes, this is a Metroidvania called Lone Fungus. This came out in 2023 by Basti Games, and you play a little mushroom. He's so cute. A cute little mushroom, and there's a story. I didn't read any of the dialogue. I read like the first 2 dialogue boxes, and then I was like, nope, don't care. So I was doing something. I had some goal. I don't know. But it's just like a cute pixel art game. A fairly big open world. where you just go around, you pick up things. There's actually quite a lot of abilities, even to the point where some things, most of which were optional things, which I did not do, the platforming got to be like, my brain and my fingers weren't smart enough to like wrap themselves around these controls and all of these various. It's like, well, you can do this if you bounce off the thing and then spin dash over here, or you can do this if you do the spin first and then bounce off the thing. And I would get to the point where I was like, wait, so I know what I have to do. What buttons do I have to push again?
Oh, God, that's like me and Neo, too. I'm just like, what button is what?
Yeah. So you mostly didn't need that for just the main game itself, but the exploration was fun. I liked just, going around collecting things. The bosses were kind of hit and miss. Like, I'd say some of them were pretty cool. A bunch of them were sort of like you could have like it could have been one or another. Like they didn't differentiate themselves a lot. Actually, my biggest complaint, because I would play this, and since it was kind of complicated control wise, like my hands would get tired, and you can't pause during boss fights.
What is this, Dark Souls?
I don't like, because you can literally pause anywhere else, but if you're in a boss fight, you can't pause the game. And I cannot think of any reason why you would do that.
That's dumb. Like, what if I just need a mental break, but like, you're doing this boss for 15 fucking minutes, like, pause.
Exactly. Like,
okay, I can do this.
That's how I felt. Like, sometimes I'd just like to give my hands like a little break, or, go get a glass of water or a coffee or something.
I don't know.
But, So, yeah, it definitely kept my attention all the way through. It wasn't overly long. I think it took me about 13 hours to beat the whole thing, which wasn't too bad. I did have fun with it, but I think overall it came out to be like, yeah, it's good. Like, not overly exciting, but decent.
Yeah, I heard about this game a couple years ago when I saw somebody play it on stream, and then I was like, gifted it to Seth, Captain Drachma, over at Indie Quest podcast, because I was like, I think you'd like this game, because he likes Metroidvanias as well.
Yeah.
And it was a cute little mushroom, so I was like, play this. So I gifted it to him, and I think he talked about it on the podcast. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I was waiting because I was hoping it would come out on Xbox, but then now that it never did. I've got access to Dylan's Steam Deck, and we've got the dock for it. I was like, okay, well, I can just, still play it on the TV this way. And then I ended up playing half of it on my computer anyway, so.
Yeah. My sister just got a Steam Deck. She loves it.
It's, again, I never use it handheld, but, like, I like anything. I'm way more likely to play games now. Like, there are games that I wouldn't have purchased, but now that I know that I can just dock it and play it in the bedroom, I'm like, all right, I'll buy this.
Yeah, I need that. I have everything mostly set up on my computer, but I would like to have more things set up on my big TV in order to like play it on the big TV. Like, it's such a convenience, But the way my apartment's set up, like, my PlayStation 5's over here, so I can stream over here. You're just like, I'm not going to get another PlayStation 5 for that bullshit. Like, come on.
No.
I'm not made of money. As much as I'd love to be. But yay! Lone Fungus. Yes. Cute little green mushroom.
Cute little green mushroom. Do you want me to do another one?
Yeah! Do Gears of War,
Oh, no, you meant it. No, sorry. I didn't need... Sorry, I saw that... Okay, whatever. I'll do Gears of War. Yeah.
Do Gears of War!
So, yeah, a couple months ago, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago, Dylan and I played through Gears of War Remaster, which we both really liked. So we decided to take a little break, play some other things. So then we just went back to Gears of War 2 to continue on with the series. And I really like Gears of War 2. I was concerned because we played the remaster the first time. It would going back to this would be like, oh, this feels kind of like old and outdated. And I'm sure if I were to like look at them side by side, I would see a difference. But I didn't really notice a difference controls wise. Like, I feel like the graphics were maybe a little hazier than, but otherwise everything still looked and felt really good. I love those big meathead gunmen.
Big muscly men in their big
muscly men
with their bad early 2000s facial hair.
Yeah. I quite liked this one. Like, they do a lot of the same things, like a lot of similar weapons. I felt that what's that big weapon that like calls down fucking lasers from the sky?
Yes, the like hand of God or something like that.
Yeah, that was used way less in 2. Like, I felt like it was all over the place in 1. And 2, it was like only occasionally. But I found this one, the environments were way different. Like, you were inside of monsters, and there was water levels with big like water fish monsters. It still did the thing that from the first one, which I liked, where you'd have to sort of split up and you each do your own thing, which I really liked. Also, this one had a lot of vehicle segments, like different vehicles that you were driving. Some of them went on a little long, but I like just changing up the gameplay from just the normal shoot. But even though I still don't totally understand what's going on with the story, like, okay, there's these monsters underground and they came out and now we've been fighting forever. I mean, I guess maybe it's not more complicated than that. Maybe I do understand it. But there were some like personal relationship revelations which were like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to happen. So
yeah. See, here's how bad I am. I've played all of the Gears with Briz. We played it co-op. Yeah. I don't fucking remember a thing about Gears. Oh. So, yay. I mean, when you're talking about it, like, things are clicking back with me with it. But are you going to play through all of them, do you think, eventually?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
like, progressively? I really remember Judgment. I like Judgment a lot. So,
okay.
I think I can't remember if that's after 3 or you should play it, like, when you should play it in the story. Like, honestly, it doesn't fucking matter because who gives a fuck? Because the story is irrelevant. But I remember liking Judgment a lot. And whenever they start to introduce the ladies, are the ladies in this?
So there's a lady. She's like the one on the...
Oh, the intercom. So you're not when you play with ladies.
Lady.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't play with her.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it when we play with the ladies because when we have not only do you have big beefy men now, you have big muscly badass bitches. And I'm like, yeah, I want to play the blonde ones. Like,
yeah. So far I've been Marcus and Dylan's been playing Dom. So Also, what I really like is that even though it's like a 2-player co-op game, most of the time, like, even when you split up, you both also get another dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're usually like a 4-person squad, even though there's only 2 players, which I really like.
You got your bitch over here, just doing whatever the fuck that they're doing over here. Just like
Exactly.
But it makes it nice. I think you can actually co-op more, like 4 players. I think it's actually a 4. Is it 4-player? I don't know. So one of them is. Or something. I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
All these games blend to fucking together in my brain. Briz is going to correct me and he's like, Petey, we played all these. I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah. But it's fun. I'm looking forward to the 3rd one. So.
Yay.
What else did you play?
What else did I play? So my sister is obsessed with this game. Like, even on her little Discord name, she says, "You're on a path in the woods." And so that's like her little tagline, like on her Discord name or whatever. And so this game is Slay the Princess, which is what do you call this? A narrative?
It's a visual novel.
I know you played it on stream at one point, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you finish the game on stream? I don't remember.
I didn't finish it on stream, but I finished it.
You finished it?
In general, yes.
So what I love... All right, so I guess this... we're going to say... This game is a visual novel. So everything we say is going to be a spoiler. So spoilers. So I beat the game, technically beat the game in the first 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's many endings.
Many endings.
This game.
And I said, I'll kill her. I'll stay in this void. I'm fine with this. And I got an ending. I was like, yay, I beat it. It's just not an actual ending, but I got an ending within 2 minutes of starting to play this game. But visually speaking, because obviously it's a visual novel and visuals have a lot to do with it, I thought it was very well done. I really like the style of it and the style of the princess and the art design and such and the different environments that you go into. It is, you are, I'm going to guess an orc or something, because you can just only see your hand. You never see the creature's face every once in a while, like a mirror stuff. But like, you're this creature and you're just supposed to go kill the princess who's in a cabin in the woods.
Yeah. The princess is going to end the world, so you have to kill her.
Yeah, you have to go and kill her. And you have this narrator telling you what to do. And you question the narrator, whether you want to listen to the narrator or you don't want to listen to the narrator. There are no wrong decisions. You just do how you feel. And each time you complete, it's like what were you talking about, like Elsinore? It's like a time loop
thing?
Like
a time looping,
Yeah. So like once you complete, then it time loops back and you're like, you remember, but the narrator doesn't remember. Like, oh, I've already done this before. What the fuck happened? So you have to keep going through this loop in order to accumulate perspectives for the thing in the sky. Well, I don't know what it is. The thing with hands in the sky, in order to get more perspectives. And so that's the true ending, not the Michelle ending where I'm just like, I'm fine with being in the void. I'm cool with this. And so I got the ending where I go with the princess and we live our best lives, like out in the void. You know, I did everything I could to not listen to the narrator, because I said, fuck you, asshole. I don't give a fuck. So I did everything I could to make princess happy and make narrator fucking pissed off every single time. Well, almost every single time. But it was a very, voice acting wise and visually speaking, great. Excellent. Really good. Did I feel like it's not a long game. Like, it took me about 4 hours to get a true ending of it. But I did feel like the repetitiveness of it did tend to get too repetitive, even though you can tab and skip through dialogue and such. But I was just like, I just want to get a new perspective. Let's go. Yeah. Like, let's move on. I want a new thing. And you really have to, like, again, there's no wrong decisions, but I do feel like you want to try to diversify a little bit and not do the same thing over and over again. So you do want to try to do different things in order to get different endings. And so you can get to that end. It's like, I don't know. What did you think of it?
I really liked it. I also thought the voice acting was fantastic.
Incredible.
I love the art. I love just how responsive the game is. Like, depending on how you go into that cabin, like, the princess is like a completely different person. If you're there like, what do you mean I have to kill this princess? This princess is obviously an innocent who's been chained up in this basement. Then she'll, like, play the innocent who's been chained up in this basement. Whereas if you, like, grab the knife and you're like, I'm here to kill you, she's like, oh yeah, you're gonna kill me, motherfucker? Like,
and then she remembers it.
And
and if it were one, she's like, you back again, bitch? Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked the loop. I liked the design. I love the atmosphere and such. I thought some of the things were just a little bit too repetitive, but again, that's just a me thing. I don't think it's like,
that honestly, that's hard to
do.
It's hard to not do that. I have that complaint in most of these time loop games as well, and like some are worse than others. I find that this one is like not nearly as bad as most in that aspect.
Yeah, for sure. And this is like the first game I've really played of this kind of style, like, you know. So of course afterwards I had to buy the pre-order the vinyl. So pre-order the vinyl. and, did that. That's fine. But overall, I really like this game. I thought it was, don't look anything up. This is a game you don't look anything up. Just fucking go in blind and listen to your gut, because there is no wrong answers, which I love. I love it when games have that, like Monkey Island. There's no way to die. There's no way to get yourself into stuck.
Exactly.
I love that. Let me make my own decisions and how I feel.
Yeah. I really like that.
What else have you been playing, Pam?
So the latest game I played on stream on Adventure Sundays is The Crimson Diamond, and this is developed by Julia Minamata, who is local Toronto-based dev. She made this game basically on her own, other than the music. Like, she did the programming, the design, the art, like all of it, and it's very influenced by the Laura Bow games, the Sierra. And it's a text parser game, which I'm usually not a text parser person. I'm like, give me my point and click interface. I don't want to type things. But this one actually managed to keep me like pretty engaged, and other than one thing, not irritated at the text parser. But you play a young woman, and she's studying to be, or she is a mineralogist. I have so much trouble with that word. I have so much trouble. And something happens, and they're like, now I forget the name of the town. Up in this town up north in Ontario, there's this garnets, and there's a big diamond has been found, and so we have to see if there's diamonds out here. So you go out to this lodge where there's this whole host of characters who some of them may have nefarious purposes, and you kind of end up in like a murder mystery in addition to you trying to find out if there's diamonds in the land here. So you're sort of going through and talking to people, getting to know people. It's really neat because there's a lot of optional content. Like, you can miss things. She'll tell you like, oh, these people are going to be meeting here at 2 p.m. and you can go and overhear their conversation, or you can miss their conversation. And there's no dead ends like the normal Sierra games. It's just like, if you miss it, you miss it. Oh, well, the game goes on. So you're just sort of investigating. You end up doing some of your mineralogy stuff and investigating a murder and taking people's fingerprints and deducing whose fingerprints and whose footprints belong to who. So it was really neat. The game has a good way of sort of nudging you in the right direction. Like, if you're kind of stuck, she'll say something. She'll like, oh, well, I should check out this, or I should talk to this person. So it's nice that it doesn't just leave you completely on your own to figure out what to do. So I ended up really enjoying it.
Nice. I've never played a text parser game, and I was watching you play some of this, and I was like, what if I'm bad at typing?
I mean, a lot of the time I would type something and be like, I don't know what you mean. It's like, oh, that's because what I just typed weren't words. There are also a lot of built-in shortcuts, but I've always been shit at shortcuts, so I never use them. The one thing, use. I couldn't say use. I'd be like, use this on this, and be like, we don't use that word in this game. Or like, I'm like, what do you mean you don't use the word use? And so I'd have to like stop and think and like, what can I say instead of use?
Oh my God, what do you say instead of use? Oh my God.
Like, put this or rub this thing on this thing or
Oh, you got to be specific.
You have to be specific, yeah.
Oh God. Brutal.
That caught me every time. Like, every time I went to like, I type use, and it'd be like, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean I can't do that? You've told me that 12 times already, but what do you mean I can't do that?
I can do that, damn it. Use is a word. This is logical.
Yeah.
It's really nice how like it's a modern game. It was made recently, but we're
last year.
yeah, we're like circling back to old formats, like a fucking text parser, which probably hasn't been used since 1989. Like that's wild. And I really hope that games like that are successful, so you can actually see like the progression of gaming and how these different styles, like how it like progress from this to a point and click and so forth and so on. Like it helps with like the historical value of games and how they progressed. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something different. Not everything has to be like fucking Fortnite.
Exactly. All right. One last game to talk about.
Wait, we do? Oh my God, we do. I'm like, we do? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So on our Wednesday night team game thing, we are playing Orcs Must Die. Which Orcs Must Die is this, Pam?
Oh, Deathtrap.
Deathtrap. So
it just came out. It's like a
yeah, the new one.
The new one. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one. So Orcs Must Die, if you don't know, is like a tower defense game. It's co-op. Yay, obviously, because we're playing on this Wednesday night co-op. And pretty much what you do is you have a situation, you roll a situation, you pick out a map, and you're like, all right, we got a tower defense to make sure that the orcs don't run into our fucking crystal, because that's all they're doing. They just want to run in there and jump into the void. And so you have a bunch of traps and stuff you can put down with allotted set of numbers of currency in order to put things down. So it progressed like each round was, I think, 6 rounds, 5 or 6.
I think 6 and 6 rounds each. So you had your traps, and then you could put barricades down, which were really the key to things. So because there's, I think, generally 4 different places eventually where they'll come out. First, they'll only come from one entrance, but they could like run any which way they want, and then you're defending from 8 different directions. But you can use these barriers to be like, nope, you're not going this way, and you could sort of like filter them all in one path.
Yeah, so you had to use a lot of communication with your partners and your teammates in order to be like, all right, I'm going to put a barricade here, and then we're going to like make the hallway of death. So they all go down the hallway of death in order to like bottleneck
just filled with traps,
And we're to all put all our monies into this hallway, or however like it was formatted and such. So it was that gameplay aspect of it. Great. Love it. Tons of fun. And then you have your different characters. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. You were going to say that.
I was like the different characters that you can have. So we're all different classes, and you have different like skills that we can do. Like you first started off as a bear, and your bear,
I love that bear.
The bear was great.
Bear just like melee attacks things. He can plant a tree that grows healing items for people. I love that my special is basically like an aggro totem, so you just drop it and anything around it will attack it instead of going wherever they were going.
Great. Different character. I played a little kitty because I'm obsessed with cats, apparently. And my cat did not have the best skills, but I was a quick little son of a bitch, and I just go through everything. So it was great. I loved it. And we all play different characters, obviously, because we don't. That's what I also love about our group. We never want to be the same thing as somebody else, because we want the full, like, experience, like even if it's not like our forte, like if I'm if I have to play like a mage character, for example, because everyone else wants to do something else, fuck it, I'll be a fucking mage. I don't care. Like I love that about us. But anyway, so different characters and such, which is great. The bad part about this game, the thing that makes me like hate it because we haven't finished it, is the progression is so fucking slow.
Yeah, like it's not really a proper campaign. It's more just like random levels that you do. And in order to sort of progress, at first you needed to do 2 levels, which were 6 rounds each. And then in the third one, you would get a boss. And if you finish the boss, then that was like beating that. And we did that. But then the next one was 3 levels and then a boss, which is just very time consuming.
I mean, at that point, we're spending 2.5 hours on a run.
The whole night on a run. Yeah.
On a run. On one fucking run. That's too long. Too long. And you don't even get a lot of like, but then you'll level up. And if you just die, it was like, no. You incremental progression.
Yeah, like if you don't complete it, then you don't get a whole lot of skulls or whatever it is.
Then you can't upgrade your bullshit or whatever. I can't upgrade my traps to be more efficient or whatever. And it's like, I just spent 2.5 hours for what?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I can only imagine. And then if we beat that, then 4 levels and then a boss? Like, ridiculous. We won't even be able to finish it. I mean, maybe we can get a little faster at the setup and figuring out where to put our barriers. But it's
hard because it's random.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 3 maps to choose from for each level. So obviously we always choose a map that we're more familiar with. But what if you don't, like, what if you get just bad roll and you have a new map and you're like, all right, so
then you have to figure out where to go.
You got to figure out what the stuff is. And we're like, all right, we're going to bottleneck them here. And that takes time because these maps are they're large. Huge.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, Burger, just tell me where to put it down his fucking barrier.
Yeah.
So I have no fucking idea. And Burger's like, okay, so what if we do this? I'm like, yes, just tell me what to do. I don't fucking care. And that's not the greatest loop. Like, I love the gameplay. It's fun. But we need to, like, pare it down here, kids. Like, take off an accessory. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad because, like, I love the gameplay. Like, I think it's really fun. I like tower defense games. I like playing the different characters, but it just, come on, like it shouldn't take 2.5 hours to do get through
the second. Like, there's how many bosses were there? I think we counted like 5 or 4.
5 or
one of them, and we're on the second one. The second we've been playing this like for 4 weeks. Like, how long is it going to take for us whenever we get to boss 5?
Yeah,
fuck off. Yeah. Even if it does, like, cap out, like, all right, we're going to just do 4 levels in a boss. That's 3 hours.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's disappointing because I love it. Like, I love getting the new traps. Like, I love how everyone has their own traps that they like. Like, I've got my organic spiky trap that the more damage it does, it just spreads on its own. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. And then, like, are you the wall trap person?
I'm the wall trap, and I do wall trap and floor traps.
And floor traps, and you know, some people like their spike traps and
or the things from the ceiling. Yes. Oh yeah. Or the shooty things. Like, we all have our little niches, and it's great.
Yeah.
And we can just upgrade those things individually, so we don't all have the same thing. We're all upgrading the same thing, so it's really cool. Like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade this fucking crazy, so then we'll have a bunch of diversity and we'll be strong. It's just too slow of a progression. It's aggravating. Ugh.
Yeah, like, it would be so nice if this was just like a campaign. Like, and you just, like, do this level, now do this level, now do, like,
make it like fucking Overcooked. Give me, like, a little map, and I'm gonna go here, here, here. Fuck it. It's just, why can't I have that?
Exactly. So I don't know how much, if we'll be playing any more of that, but it's like, I really like it, but it's just like, we only have so long on Wednesday nights. Like,
yes, because somebody has children, have to put them to bed, and we have to start at 9:30.
That's true.
Briz. I can say that because I game with Briz all the time. Oh, there is a new 2-player game that's coming out soon that we'll probably play. The Split Friction. What is that?
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. For that Split Fiction.
I think I keep calling it Split Friction, and people make fun of me because it's like split butts of friction. I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't care. It's the same people as It Takes Two, and I really liked playing that. So
I really liked that. Yeah, and A Way Out.
Oh my god. Greatest memory, me passing out on the chair of your couch, or chair on your chair, and then waking up, you and Dylan are playing A Way Out. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. And you filming. He was like, you have to row this boat too. I'm like, I am rowing the boat. And then, like, 30 seconds later, I was like, oh, I wasn't rowing the boat. And you got that on camera.
did. And you guys didn't know. I was just sitting there like,
Yeah.
pretending like I'm passed out. Oh, good times. That was a good time.
All right. Do you have any pickups to show off?
I have a couple, so hold on.
Oh.
Right.
Shiny
It's
fucking
fucking
pickups.
Shiny fucking pickup. All right, so I actually added a game because it was on top of it. Because I also wanted to ask you, since we're here, I got Blasphemous 2 on the PS5. I haven't even opened it yet. It's still in plastic. Do I need to play 1 in order to play 2? Fabulous! I got Blasphemous 2 on the PS5. I plan on playing that eventually. Because the aesthetic is so cool looking.
It is really cool looking.
It's fucking Bloodborne. Ugh. So anywho, the other game that I also got. So I'm currently playing Yakuza 0. Someday I'm going to finish this bitch. It's so huge. How do they come out with a game every year?
They reuse a lot of stuff. Like, same location, same-ish characters, like
same minigames, I imagine.
Yeah.
But good lord, just even like the writing and the dialogue and the stuff, all the things that go into this, like it is a hefty, big bitch.
Yeah.
And they go through a game a year. So obviously I had to get the ridiculous pirate Yakuza game. Because our buddy Burger was playing it and sharing cutscenes with me. And like Majima is in these like hot boy shorts with like a bad like haircut or whatever. I was like, I need it.
Yeah.
So I'll, again, someday when I finish Yakuza 0, which hopefully be soon. I'm in chapter 10 of 16. I think there's 16 chapters. I forget how many there are.
Yeah, 15 or 16.
15 or 16. So I'll complete that eventually, and then I'll play that one again.
Nice.
And then I'll talk about it and tell you how much I love it. But the one vinyl that I did got, so I pre-ordered this months ago. Months and months ago. This is Pokemon. You wouldn't think by looking at this. This is fucking Pokemon. Not at all. What the fuck is
Looks
happening
like
here?
Zelda.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, so theory, obviously, because all of these are like this. So this is Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah. So each one has different like crazy
They're
art.
so pretty.
They're very pretty and very un-Pokemon like. But the music is OST, and they all are like crazy. Like this. I think this is from Monowave. I think it is. Oh my god! And I think they're resold out. The art, obviously, like each one is like crazy. Like, isn't that fun?
I love them. Yeah.
I love them. I fucking love them. I'm gonna get them mixed up now, but it's fine. Because there's like 50 billion of them. Have I ever played a Pokemon game? No, but I know the value of Pokemon. I went with my sister this past Friday. We went to a warehouse sale for a local video game store in Pennsylvania, and she got a Pokemon Game Boy. Like, it's the yellow and blue Game Boy. Really good condition. It was like $800.
Jesus.
I know. So Pokemon never goes down. So even though this is not Pokemon art, it's fucking cool looking. Like, look at this
It's
fucking
cool
shit.
looking, yeah.
Yeah.
It's way cooler than actual Pokemon art.
I know. And I'm never going to play a Pokemon game.
No.
Fuck that shit. But I'm just going to, keep buying this shit because my sister likes Pokemon a lot. And yeah, why not? Oh, this one's like not even, this one's like textured. You can't tell because it's a picture. But these ones are shiny. And this one's like, it feels different. I love that.
Nice.
So yeah, that one that I already showed. Anywho, so yeah, I got a Pokemon Emerald, Sapphire, whatever the fuck that is thing. Yeah, and I love it. It's cool. I haven't played it yet. That's fine. Have you got any pickups, Pam?
I have no pickups.
Oh, why not?
I don't really have anything I want to buy lately.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll buy enough vinyl for the both of us. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I'll just be your drug mule and bring them with me whenever I go to Canada.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a podcast.
That's a podcast.
That's a podcast. Look at us.
Mm-hmm.
Almost hour 40 if I take 10 minutes off of us recording.
I feel like there's less stuff than normal.
We're still at
but
the same
we're
length.
Still, yeah.
I don't know how we keep doing this because I thought too.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
don't know either.
oh, we'll record
Oh, this will
sooner.
be shorter. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not at all. Not even the slightest bit. It's fine. But thank you all for listening. If you want to talk to us, leave us a comment on the YouTubes. We probably will respond if you're snarky and sassy.
And if you like what you heard here and want to check out some more fun podcasts, check out polymedianetwork.com, where you've got all kinds of podcasts about video games, about movies, about books.
Sometimes we make appearances on other podcasts, like Pam
We
makes
do.
appearances on other podcasts.
I was on Drunk Friend not too long ago with SNES Drunk and NES Friend, and yeah, there'll be lots of cool things, indie games, whatever you're into. There's probably something for you.
Always. And as always, do you say drink well? Do I say drink well? I don't know.
You
Somebody
say
says
drink well.
Drink
Yeah.
well.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.